All right. Let's hit these here. I think that audio's going there. Yeah, I think we're good. All right, dude. Let's have you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Colton. Uh, my class is 222 glass. Friends call me Turb or Turb Jesus.
Okay.
All right.
Why did you choose the artist name 222?
It's just a number that I used to see everywheres, or I still see it everywheres, honestly. Um, and then like I looked it up, and it was like angel numbers and like good significance to it, and like with like prosperity and stuff. So I was into that, and I thought that might be like a good thing for like class that might transfer like my prosperity that I see or what the universe is trying to tell me like could help me prosper. So I just went with it for my class.
Do you feel like you still see the number a lot?
Oh yeah,
When's that?
all the time, almost every day.
Do you remember the last time you saw it?
Last night,
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot what. Oh, it was at the gas station, and it was like the price tag of a water or some shit. It was 222. I see it almost every time I buy cheese for some reason. Cheese is $2.22 a pound at the Walmart down the street.
Do you
So.
feel like you should eat more cheese because you see that number on the
That
cheese all
might
the
be
time?
why I eat so much cheese as it
Yeah.
is now. Who knows?
Okay.
Maybe that's like maybe that's the universe telling me like cheese will make me prosper.
Yeah.
So if I eat more of it,
Okay.
I'm there.
What's the first thing you made in class?
Ooh, it was a pendant. I took a pendant class in New Orleans, um, at Pollock Pollock Glass Studios. Shout out Andrew Pollock.
What year was that?
I was in, let's see, I started in 2020, and I think it was in 2019. So like
Okay.
right before the pandemic and all that shit popped off. It was like October. Um, Went in, made a pendant, it cracked. Still fucking stoked on it, still have it. And then a few months later, got that stimmy check and I bought torch and stuff.
What torch did you buy?
I got a Nortel. It's a think it's called mid range, but it's not the square face one. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
round face.
Okay.
So
Nice.
still have it. That's what I work on when I'm not working on the lathe over there.
So how did you find that first place?
My ex actually got it for me for my birthday. She
Okay.
paid for me a class,
Nice.
so yeah, it was really dope. I love that studio too. One of my favorite studios that I've been in. So if anybody's ever in New Orleans, check out Pollock Studios. The bomb.
Did you have big influences when you started? And not even necessarily just like glass influences. Like talk about that for sure, but like were there other artistic influences or something that were kind of like
Ooh,
going down the way?
I would say my uncle still is probably one of the best like influences when it comes to like a lot of things. He's one of the best artists that I know.
Okay.
He doesn't do glass, but he does like woodworking and then like he sculpts things out of like PVC pipes and paints it and stuff and like just weird things that you just not he's like the off the wall kind of artist, so and he like is a workhorse, so dude doesn't stop.
Hmm.
You go to hang out, drink beer with him, he's still working the whole time.
And was that from a pretty early age you were watching him kind of make art and stuff?
No, actually it was honestly like in a later age when I realized like I always watched him and knew what he did, or you know but uh never really like until like I got older appreciated it, I guess.
Hmm.
Until I was like probably 17, 18. So I was like, oh, like this dude's actually like doing some pretty crazy stuff, you know. But
So okay, so you went to the first place, you made your first pieces.
uh
Where did you sell your first pieces of glass?
Instagram,
Instagram.
yeah.
Okay.
My well, Actually, I think one of my like good homies bought it, but they seen it on Instagram.
Yeah. So that was where you were first kind of posting your work, showing it
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely for sure. I still have only sold to like a handful of shops, not that many. And then once for like a distributor, so sold them like 10 rigs. But other than that, not too many shops. Just mostly like word of mouth through Instagram or locals come pick it up, whatever.
Okay. And are those local shops that you sell to?
Yes. So one of them was back in Louisiana that I sold to.
Yeah.
One was here in Tucson where I work now at Hippie Gypsy, and then the other one is Sunset Glass Gallery.
Okay. And that's where we're at right now,
That is
right?
where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Best shop in Tucson.
So you work at two different shops and are able to sell your glass to those two shops, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But honestly, I try to sell them mostly retail because I get more money. But I love Aspen and the owner of Sunset. And when he like, if he needs something, then and I make it, then I'll make them for him. You know, I'll take an order. But other than that, like I try to do as much um, retail as I can, and I think it's better for like me doing retail because I can like actually talk to like who's buying it. I can connect with them, like maybe follow them back, all that
Yeah.
stuff. So
So what I was going to ask is, do you feel like having your work in the shops you're working in allows you to better explain your work as opposed to maybe others that are going to be in the shop? And two, do you feel like it helps with your personal career and help you be able to explain your work a little bit better?
I think when I did have my glass in the shops that I worked at and like people were interested in, it did help like be able to explain it and like why does it cost this much and like and then it helps me also like be able to vouch for other artists that we carry as well, like because I can say like, look, I know because I made this, I know like these are way harder, they've been doing it a lot longer, all this other stuff, so I can kind of like educate people a little bit better on like glass and the American glass market and whatnot through my jobs, which is pretty nice.
And do you feel like when you started blowing glass, you already kind of had an understanding of some of the artists in the scene?
Oh yeah, so like um when like the way I like found out about glass blowing is I went and bought my first bong and like I came back and my homie came over and we were smoking and I was like he can like see like how thrilled I was about it, and like all the function and stuff. I was like just stoked on it. And he was like you can watch dudes on YouTube that make these. The fuck, like I thought a machine made this. And he's like, no, dude, you can watch it. So then started watching like videos on YouTube, and then another one of my friends was like a little bit into headier glass, and he started sending me like Instagram and whatnot. So then I just probably like the biggest when I like first started getting into like nicer high end glass was like Bear Mountain
Yeah.
because I liked his like before the RBRs, all the like honey pot recyclers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The color fades that he does are always like super good. His color choices are always really good. And then like from there found like Mueller glass and then like all those other big dogs, Banjo, all those. So those were always like but now that I'm like once I like went through the phase of like finding like all those like, hot dogs, I liked finding like more of the like niche artists that are doing like just cool little recyclers or jammers or whatever. So or like milli patterns and stuff, because like when I first got into it, it was just like recyclers or huge, sculptures and stuff. Now finding like milli patterns or like people that do like different line work patterns besides a wig wag and all that.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about like when you were first getting into glass, what the scene looked like and kind of what it felt like, and you know what I mean, what you were interested in those parts, right?
So when I first started blowing glass or getting into glass.
Either or both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when I first started getting into glass, um, really, I've always been like a function guy. like that's what I've always looked for in things, I guess. And
Hmm.
that's still kind of what I look for in glass, which is why I like making the things that I make and whatnot.
Hmm.
But I think mostly like when I first started was just like what was the like coolest shit that people were making, you know, like watching like hoops and stuff make those cool ass like chests. Pretty
Yeah. So how
sweet.
about like, what was the first piece that you really remember being like, holy shit?
Oh, it was banjo for
Yeah.
sure. It was a banjo. It was I don't know the exact name of it, but it was before the like he started doing the Debbie's hardcore. It was like a big almost like a looked like a robot dinosaur, and it had like the rainbow spikes going down
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
back.
Okay.
Yeah, that one like really. That's when I was like, dude, this is like crazy because like certain angles you call it like the spine on the back, and I was like, this is like pretty crazy.
And did you see it in person or did you see it on the internet?
Instagram, I
Yeah.
still haven't seen it in person, but
Okay.
one day hopefully, because
Yeah.
that was like a you know the turning point of like holy shit, like this is a lot bigger than I thought, and then seeing Bucks work too probably because I was like dude's making huge cool like bone sculptures, which and I've always been into like bones and shit.
Mm.
So that really struck with me too.
And so were people like, was it all flour? Were people dabbing at the time? Was it like titanium nails?
It
Like,
literally just started getting into like dabbing right when I started getting into the scene. So it was like still the glass nail and dome,
yeah, okay.
and then we hit the titanium nail and domes,
Yeah.
and then from there. So people are definitely that Herb was definitely still the bigger one. Um, you know, all the nail joints that we used to have on everything, every dab rig was kind of crazy. So glad that changed. But I don't know. Yeah, like it was it was definitely heavily more herb then for sure. And like I was definitely more into bongs. So like bigger
Yeah,
bongs.
it was big flour
Yeah,
pieces.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Are there certain
Exactly.
companies that you were just like, this is the one, dude?
I wasn't there's only like one company that I've ever like been into, I guess you can say that I was like, holy shit, like these are pretty nice. And it was I think they might be out of Eugene, but it's Sky Glass.
Okay.
But yeah, they just they're beakers with the sunflower perk or I think that's what it is, or sun perk. I don't know. Big old shower head on the bottom pretty much. But
Yeah.
it's gas.
And so those are the ones where you were just like, yo, like, this
Mm-hmm.
is the one that if I was either had crazy money or wasn't afraid of breaking some shit, I'm fucking getting that
Oh no, dude. Honestly, if I had like crazy money and I was getting like, because those aren't too expensive, those
one.
are probably in my budget. But if I had like crazy money to get a piece, it'd probably be a Scotty nickel.
Okay. Nice.
For that's I don't know everything he makes, I'm in it.
Nice. So, okay, we talked kind of about like what the scene was looking like when you started. What do you hope the scene looks like in like 10 years?
Ooh, that is a great question. I hope it's better than what it is right now. For like, I'm doing pretty good, but I'm not selling my work for much right now, and I'm still pretty new at this. So like in 10 years, I hope that the scene kind of bounces back a little bit from where it is, so that like we can all like progressively get better and be able to sell our pieces for more. Because I feel like if we can only like limit ourselves to like certain prices or whatever, certain people don't want to pay however much money, then we can't really progress as artists as well. So, so I do hope that that bounces back a little bit. But I also am interested in like what's the next like thing.
Hmm.
Like we got dabs now. Like, is it going to be something else in 10 years, or are we even going to be using glass in 10 years for smoking? Is it all going to be electronic? Because it's kind of heading that way right now. So, but are you always going to have the people that like glass.
Hmm.
So it's like I hope there's always that equal balance because like I love the electronic rigs too. I have one. Can't knock on it. It works. But also love smoking hash out of a rig, and I love blowing glass to smoke hash. So I hope that I can keep doing that. So because that's actually like I told somebody one time, like I don't think that I would be happy making like cups all the time or sculptures or like whatever, you know. Like I got in this specifically to make pipes. I don't plan on ever switching. Like I'll make cups and stuff for fun, but that's I got in this for pipes. That's it.
So on that, what's your favorite thing to make right now?
Oh, recyclers.
Okay.
It's always been my favorite thing to make.
So
Um,
like specific designs, specific shapes.
oh, so I'm really bad about keeping on one design. I really don't know how so many artists do it. Can make one design and just kind of like make it in different colors or whatever, you know, or slightly changes, you know, be like, oh, V2, you know, I made 100 of these, but this is V2, and it's like a slightly different thing. Um, I like that. That's cool and all. I just can't do it personally. I have to change kind of constantly. So I started off with floaters because I always thought like those are pretty easy to make. You know, they're not too hard. Like just connecting two spoon pipes with some tubing in between. And then started like experimenting and trying like different things. I did like an old like base style recycler that was like pretty cool, but like way too techy for me at the time. So I might go revisit that one day. And then I did like an internal drain recycler. Um, Stopped making recyclers for like a few months. Started making like little Cthulhu sculptures, and that was fun to experiment for a while. Haven't made that in a minute though, but I think recyclers is really what like gets me going.
So it's pushing you right now to keep
Yeah,
making them.
exactly. And then like watching like all these other artists push out so many different designs like helps me be able to like think of new designs because like I can see that and I can be like, oh, why didn't like why didn't you do this? And I'm like, oh, I'll just go do that. So that's really tight. But but yeah, hoping to go more color this year because that's what people's been begging me for. But I'm definitely a clear kind of guy. I love clear. Um, I don't know. I think it's something elegant about it. I love color too. It's really pretty, but I think making a nice, good, clear rig is just dope.
Hmm. So what's inspiring your work the most right now?
Oof. Like person wise,
However you want to take it.
um, honestly, I'd have to say this shop.
And what shop is it?
This is Tucson Torchworks.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. It's just like having like I have like a corner, you know, like people in my corner here.
Yeah.
So like they want to see me get better, so it makes me want to get better. And then like, you know, so like now I'm like taking classes and shit. I didn't do that until like last year, I think. So yeah, last year was my first class, and I was still only taking two, but but like I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for like Jack talking me into it and like Aspen and then like helping me be able to take the class and like do payment plans on it and shit like that. So so that's honestly what's been helping me a lot. Having like a support system. That's been my I guess my inspiration or whatever. It's
Hmm.
like having somebody that like wants me to be inspired, you know,
Yeah.
wants me to grow.
Hmm.
So I'd have to say like Tucson Fort Worth and Jack and Aspen.
Okay. What's your favorite thing to do outside of glass?
Whew. I like to be outside. Whatever I can do outside. I like to ride my bike. Um, I like to go hiking, camping, um, homies, whatever, you know, hanging out with homies outside by the fire, smoking, maybe drinking a little bit. But But yeah, that's great. Sometimes I do like to go to Danny's a lot too. Danny's Boba Kaviri. Shout out them. If you're ever in Tucson, hit it up. But yeah, that's my jam, I guess, outside of this, because I mostly work. So whenever I get the chance, so I like to go hiking or camping, gambling.
So yeah, I was thinking, I was like, okay, nature, and then you're like gambling, and it's like, okay, throwing a little city in there. I get it. Okay,
I
gotta
still
have
like to
best of both.
be a degenerate,
Yeah.
so gotta throw that.
Okay. Okay. Um, what do you feel more glass blowers should be paying attention to?
They're I think their work. Like, I think people are worried right now about like money and stuff, which is very understandable. Like, you got to pay your bills, but at the same time, like, um, if you're in this just for money, then it's going to reflect in your work. Like, and like I know this from like my own thing. Like, if I'm like stressing on money this week, and I'm like, all right, I got to get a piece made, so I can get it auctioned and make a little bit of extra cash. That whole piece is going to be messed up. Because I'm just stressing already, you know. So I think if you just focus on like, what can I, do if this isn't working for me right now with this design or whatever, what can I do different that maybe my collectors would want to buy, or like what else can I do to affect like my happiness at the same time, hopefully reflect sales, because like whatever you're happy about, that like other people will be happy, you know. So like if you show like, yo, dude, this new design that I got is so sick, like I enjoy smoking out of it, all this other stuff, that I think that reflects, you know. Uh, so that's like why I like watching like when artists smoke out of their pieces, because like I've seen so many pieces that like online they look so cool, and then I hit it in person. I'm like, this is not nearly as good as what I thought it was. And I don't know. I think people need to not be married to one idea or one thing. Experiment, especially like bad days where you're like, fuck, like what do I do here? Try something different. Like I did not think that I could sculpt, and then I was just feeling off on recyclers, and I was like, I'll just try to do something just to like get some passion back into this, and then it sparked up more passion. Made a few of those Cthulhu rigs and pendants, and then I was like, I want to get back to recyclers and make some cooler shit, and I did. Made a lot better designs and whatnot, and it's just been a little snowball effect since then. So I think people just need to focus on being like happier with the class.
Okay. Last one. What do you hope to accomplish in glass?
Honestly, dude, I just want to keep doing this shit until I die. That's it. I don't. I If I stay at where the same level where I'm at right now, I would still be happy 60, 80 years from now if I'm still blowing glass. Even if I digress, as long as I can still do it, I'll be happy. But everybody, I'm gonna put in the hours, so I'm gonna get the powers. But we're gonna progress, and I would like to see, honestly, if I could, hopefully, me do this full time here soon. So, and I think it's possible, even with like people thinking the market's dead. Uh, so I ain't think it's dead. I'm thriving pretty good in it.
Cool. All right, man. Anything else you want to say?
uh, Nah, dude, that's it. I think. Shout out Tucson Torchworks again, Sunset Glass Gallery. I can't thank them enough. I don't think many people here can thank them enough. They've put us all on pretty hard, good track. So only up from here, baby.
Let's go.